basically it's this idea that, someone might defame you and that really bothers you. I mean, I've been defamed so many times. There've been so many times where I'm like, Cenk, I want to sue. I want to sue for defamation. He's like, it's a bad idea. Yeah. And it's the Streisand effect where you draw attention to the allegation, and since you're on the defense, it makes you look bad, makes you look sus, as you said.
Zac, do you want to take a look at this pretty interesting, pretty funny moment from the Young Turks live the other night?
Yes, because what you told me, right? What you told me, and I won't spoil it for anybody, right? What you told me, really, I was like, I had to do one of these guys, and it was actually a text, so I did one of these guys. But I was like, oh, holy shit. Like, it's not something I'd never considered. Obviously, we'd considered it, but very interesting to hear from the horse's mouth, if you will. But without further ado, let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look over here. This is a recent TYT clip that actually features seemingly one of the producers or behind the scenes folks at TYT, in addition to Ana Kasparian. Not familiar with this lady. Don't have anything against her.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a look at the segment, which again features Ana. Otherwise, a fairly innocuous segment, but Ana makes a pretty interesting and I guess unexpected, although maybe not, confession, or she admits something here that I thought was pretty interesting, and I think is in reference to us. I don't have any proof of that, but I do have a piece of evidence that I'd like to submit after we take a look that it is in fact about us. So we'll play that as well, a clip from the past, a blast from the past. But let's take a look here at the segment. This was in the context of them talking about Trump and his ties to Epstein, which I guess left Joe Rogan speechless.
Joe Rogan's been doing this weird thing, which we've been so busy we haven't been able to talk about, but we definitely make a point to. Where he's like, I was actually never anti-woke, which is such a blatant lie. You were a flag-waving MAGA cheerleader, and we will never, ever, ever let you live it down. And it's funny, Gavin and I, years ago, before the big Joe Rogan fall off, we were looking at our very, very early Vanguard content, and it was like, Joe Rogan is putting out weird stuff right now. And we were just like regular guys. I think we were like 20 years old. We were like, this is a little strange and fishy. We like this show, but why are you saying that? And then it only got far, far worse.
Yeah. We were like, this is a weird direction for Rogan to be going in. And now it's just like so far gone that either way, let's take a look here. This is again, pretty funny. I included a couple seconds also of just the context of the conversation they're having, which I thought was, just too irresistible. This is some funny stuff too.
100%. In fact, I mean, it's a little bit, in other contexts, it's a little bit unfortunate. It's like known as the Streisand effect, where, was it Richard Gere? I don't remember, but there was like an actor, a male actor, who's accused of having a fetish of putting hamsters up his butt, right? Like,
I think it's gerbil,
it was
right?
Richard Gere. Richard Gere's a hottie. It's very unfortunate that he was dealing with that obviously false claim. But basically it's this idea that someone might defame you and that really bothers you. I mean, I've been defamed so many times. There've been so.
What? She calls it a hamster. It's a gerbil. I knew it couldn't be a hamster because hamsters aren't really butthole shaped. I was like, the myth had to be a gerbil, and then I googled it and I was right, and it was a gerbil.
But basically it's this idea that someone might defame you and that really bothers you. I mean, I've been defamed so many times. There've been so many times where I'm like, Cenk, I want to sue. I want to sue for defamation. He's like, it's a bad idea. Yeah. And it's the Streisand effect where you draw attention to the allegation, and since you're on the defense, it makes you look bad, makes you look sus, as you said.
Makes you look sus.
Oh, well, no, dude. If anybody was gonna get sued by Ana, it would have been us. So you might have more evidence, but that's crazy to hear. Obviously, we thought about it. Obviously, we knew what our legal defense would be, and that's that we're silly and Billy, and everything that we say on the show is in character, in jest, and satire. Mr. Officer, please don't arrest us. We don't have any money. You could take it, but we don't have any.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, no, but go ahead. I think the main reason Cenk talked her out of it was obviously the Streisand effect, but Cenk deep down knew that they were not going to win that case.
He's like, yeah, we're already a sinking ship here. We don't have the money to fund this, this lawsuit that inevitably we're going to lose. And that will also make us look terrible because it'll be us going after smaller, truly independent, content creators for the crime of criticizing us. And again, here's some evidence that she's talking about us in that instance. Who knows? She could be talking about other people, but I cut together two moments from previous TYT live streams where the Vanguard got brought up, and it seems like we occupy a similar sort of headspace as whoever she might be referencing here when it comes to suing people. Let's take a look at this.
There is one particular channel, it's called the Vanguard. Two young guys host it.
I think TYT is insane for not copyright striking channels who take our content from our members only bonus episode, which is intentionally behind a paywall. Just a warning to those channels, we will nuke the fuck out of you, okay? If you're gonna steal content from paid walled members only content. Just wanna say that.
And it was so funny.
Weird to start with that, but
we mocked this roundly with a bunch of other lefty content creators like Mike Figueredo and Lance from the Surfs, because the entire TYT model for over a decade was to take clips from cable news, which is a paywalled service, and react to it on air, which is another reason Cenk did not want to open that can of worms legally, because he has used fair use to enrich himself for decades. Right. And that's fine, because if you believe in the First Amendment, you should believe in fair use. And guess what, Anna? You're a news broadcaster. That's what you claim. That's what you identify as. So when you create commentary, it becomes fair use when it's newsworthy. Right. So when you boast about being the oldest and largest progressive news outlet, that means your commentary is newsworthy. And as long as we transform it, which we do, in fact, it's actually to the chagrin and oftentimes at the bemoanment of our own audience who say, oh, come on, stop pausing it. I don't want to hear Zach talk over it for 30 seconds now just so I can continue to hear. But that's what we have to do, because we're doing our job as media watchdogs, which is to make it so, hey, yeah, it's unpleasant to watch us do it if you haven't already watched it over there, right? Because we're not trying to take food out of their mouth. We're trying to add context. We're trying to add our perspective, right? We're trying to say, hey, here's how their commentary has wavered after they started to take millions of dollars from Jeffrey Katzenberg, after Joe Sandberg started to get involved there. They told you to bank with a guy who is convicted of fraud now. He literally confessed. He took a guilty plea, for wire fraud. They told you to bank with that guy at Aspiration Bank. They said Aspiration Bank is a partner, like all these things. Do you think that it's fair game to come out and warn you guys and be like, hey, they're not doing their due diligence? Of course it is. And just because they put that behind a paywall doesn't mean that we're not allowed to, as commentators, warn you about this kind of stuff, just like we're warning you not to do their chapter bullshit, which is Vivek Ramaswamy's Medicare company, which is why Cenk now publicly says he supports a public option instead of being a diehard Medicare for all soldier, which he was for years and years and years.
Yep, 100%, 100%. And this clip, I know for a fact, is directly in reference to us, because it was literally on the TYT live stream that was live hours after we were live reacting to some members only shit.
Yeah.
So I know for 100% or 99.5%, sure that this is about us. Let's hear the end of it before we move on.
Come on, guys. Bounds of fucking reason, okay? It's insane when you see that happen. People steal our content all the time. We don't do anything about it. But when it comes to paywalled members only content, we're giving people exclusive members only content. That's part of membership. It's ridiculous to just steal that content. Anyway, let's get to this Netflix dating show, Love is Blind. Do you watch any of that stuff, Waz?
Hard-hitting news.
Yep, Love is Blind, which is also paywalled content that they probably reacted to at least some of in that next segment, hilariously. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's obvious based on that and her threatening to nuke us out of I'm gonna fucking nuke you. We're gonna fucking I'm pretty sure the fact that she said that proves that we're the gerbils up her ass, so to speak. That's or the hamsters. I forget which one it actually was, but either way,
gerbil in real life, she called them hamsters. And again, for anybody who's serious about the truth, somebody who takes the journalism really serious, you'd think she might care about the accuracy of that smear.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the truth of the matter. That's the role that we apparently play in her life.
You know what? Is it better to be the gerbil or the asshole? I don't know.
Pretty funny stuff though. Why is everyone so horny to sue? Chill out, you rich people. Like, chill. Just smoke a blunt. If you see some like video criticizing you, just don't click it. Who cares? It's fine. Just go enjoy your riches and your nice view out your fucking LA condo window. Your LA condo window. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill. Stop trying to sue everyone. Why is everyone like getting the fucking lawyers involved? Ethan Klein, David Pakman's out here threatening to sue. Ana Kasparian can't stop, thinking about getting the lawyers involved, like the Karen that she is. It's just crazy to me that people who claim to care about free speech, who all want to exist in this ecosystem where we criticize and react to each other occasionally, like, chill.
Yeah, you know what it is, or at least my opinion of what it is that it's the Trump era's impact. One of the things, we talk about how it's so crazy to live in this time, and there's so many crazy things happening, and there's crazy things happening, and we're more exposed to them than ever because we're also connected and we're all engaged via our phones and the internet and all that stuff. So all of that is true, right? But I think a consequence of that is some things become normalized, right? Or some things that shouldn't, like taking dark money, are on the playing field when they should have never been considered, right? But we're in this new Trump era and people will talk them into all kinds of ridiculous shit. And one thing that I think Donald Trump has oddly normalized was his weird behavior towards litigation. His idea that I'm just going to attack the press. I'm going to attack anybody who is critical of me. I'm going to use intimidation tactics, my status, my position, my wealth, my ability to silence you and your dissent, right? Because it's also so crazy to hear Ana Kasparian say that and then go and you praise Tucker Carlson, right? Who has been sued out the asshole and cost Fox News hundreds of millions of dollars for defamation. So absolutely crazy to be the, pot calling the kettle black here in that situation, right? As you sit there and defend Tucker Carlson over and over and over, you can't get enough of defending Tucker Carlson and talking about what a wholesome guy he is and his nice little cottage in Maine and how he hires the local Oompa Loompas to do his bidding and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. And I think that the Donald Trump effect has normalized just litigation and just being like, I'll do away with you, you fucking peasant.
Yep, 100%, more Trumpian behavior from people that want to sit around criticizing the left. Punching left all day long. Either way.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there.